So I wanted to talk today about Jukai. We missed the ordinations last year of any kind because of the pandemic, but we had a priest ordination here recently for Spencer Levy and Christopher Burnham, and now we're going to follow that by a Jukai or a lay ordination. I hope all of you can come to this and witness the ceremony for these three people who have been very regular attendance at the nighttime sessions of Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday nights. And they will all become formal members in this Sangha, which is very nice also. So please come to see that take place. The three people are Rachel McGovern, who lives on Whidbey Island up north, across from Seattle, with her husband, and she's coming down just for the ceremony. And she'd love to meet as many members of the Sangha as she can. Philip Reeves is the second one, and Virginia Reed, and all three of them have been such regular people coming every night. So it'd be a great pleasure for all of us to see the Zendo full and have all of you meet these three people who have gone to great lengths to make the Raksu and take part in everything, even though most of everything has taken place on Zoom. And if you could bring something for a potluck lunch afterwards, that would even be better. That would be just great, because we haven't had a real potluck lunch with everybody for a long time. And today makes me feel like maybe we can have a potluck again for real. And what a good feeling that was. And if you bring a potluck lunch for all of us, then it would be a real celebration for the three new people, and we can relax, eat, meet, and talk with all of the three and get to know them better. And as always, the lunch should be vegetarian and limited only by your imagination, whether you buy it or make it. And so what we need probably is snacks, salad, drinks, entrees, and desserts. Nothing too elaborate or too much. Just whatever you can bring would be really, really appreciated. And what a great pleasure it would be to have it together again. So because it's been a long time since we had a Jukai, today what I want to talk about is the difference between a Jukai and a priest's ordination. A priest's ordination establishes the commitment of someone to following the way of Buddha and to form a strong relationship with the continuation of the Sangha to fill in for priest needs like leading services, opening the Zendo, as well as considering all Sangha members a personal responsibility, much like an older sibling looking after young ones. That can be both a burden and a great privilege. The robes alone can require discipline to wear every day until you know that you wear them whether you have them on or not. Besides a priest's ordination, a Jukai also establishes responsibility for the person taking the vows of the Bodhisattva, and they also are like an older sibling looking after younger ones. But I want to emphasize here that younger or older does not imply greater or lesser understanding of the Dharma, but a willingness to help with obstacles and encouragement, and a willingness to be helped by the other. Of course, as they study and practice, they will all be changed, both inwardly and outwardly, but this is not always obvious. A priest maintains the Buddhist way and forms, and in particular, protects the lineage of practice for the future. To do that, a priest's way is to guide others carefully to prepare them for ordination if they wish for future practice. And a priest will likely either create a Zendo to find new disciples or continue to practice in their home Zendo with their teachers. There are many examples of both ways. They may also travel to other zendos or from others to learn from others and to deepen their understanding and acquaint themselves with different forms of teaching. This is also something that lay ordained people may do later in the future, but it's good to stay with their teacher that they're already working with until they reach a point where they feel right about themselves. And then their teacher gives them a blessing to go and visit other zendos and learn further. Or the teacher may give them lay entrustment if they wish. If they wish to commit to further responsibility. Lay entrustment is much the same as a transmission ceremony of an ordained priest, but a lay entrustment student of Zen doesn't have the responsibility to create new priests. However, as well as priests, they have been entrusted by the teacher to guide and help others. Like priests, they must be ready to step into leadership roles when necessary. The future of their Sangha may depend upon it. They may also visit other zendos in order to deepen their practice, such as priests do. Lay entrusted students wear a green rakusu, which they also make, and take on new responsibilities for the Sangha. Of course, such a student must be ready to take on the responsibility of teaching and guiding students when the willingness to help and the willingness to be helped is present. Such a student has also walked the walk of a priest, but chose to remain in lay life form. A lay entrusted person also continues as a lay student and receives lay entrustment when they and the teacher determine that it is time. It's not necessary to be a priest to express your full potential as a student of Zen. But let's talk about Jukai people and what that means for them. Mainly, this means a more formal relationship to the Sangha. The rakusu is not a sign of importance in the Zendo, but it is a sign of commitment. It does not mean that your understanding is more deep than another. It means that you commit to your Sangha in a clear and practical way. When you wear your rakusu in a different Zendo, you can also meet a bigger Sangha in a much more intimate way. For all students, whether being a priest wearing a rakusu or becoming a lay entrusted student, these signs of practice do not indicate an inward understanding more than other students. It does mostly denote a level of responsibility felt towards other students in the Sangha. Learning and practice never stop, and the unfolding of insight and understanding continues throughout one's life. And throughout life, we go back to 1 and 0 and continue to learn, but sometimes on a wider scale, many times involving other students in very helpful ways. And sometimes a student may be strong enough to be involved in a very wide scale with people everywhere, whoever they are, and work to bring equanimity to the lives of others as needed. As all students of Zen who work with people, they develop compassion for everyone without regard to conditions or prejudice. Of course, this is not designated by roles or status, but by each person's unfolding of a deeper love for all people, or rather for all beings, since this includes our whole world, as our teachers have told us many times. Open up and experience a wider world of love. However, robes and status do designate responsibility and inspire others. So all students can aspire to wearing a rakusu or taking the priesthood or lay entrustment in order to tend more fully to the wider world of all beings. What I want to say today is to respect the robe as the outer form of the lineage and the practice. And it means of the responsibility for all beings, and as the outer form of our lineage, but not designating one's real understanding of the Dharma. People who wear robes have been practicing for many years before getting them. It does not always mean, however, that their understanding is deep. Sometimes the least obvious person has the deepest understanding of the Dharma. So it's best to observe for oneself and to know that the most obvious is not always the most precious. Anyone you meet on the street can also have a very profound understanding of the Dharma, whatever they are wearing, whatever they look like. If we only judge by superficial means, we may miss the most important moment right in front of us. So I ask all of you to open your eyes and see what is in front of you and judge for yourself, not with a superficial idea from your head, but from your heart with your Buddha nature as to what is right and clear to your inner sight, regardless of appearance and habitual ideas.
More glasses or not?
I feel like this has been slightly garbled today because I got rattled before no, I can't see with
Okay.
that. I got slightly rattled before the talk because the printer wouldn't print. And then when I sat down to make a few corrections on the laptop, it kept leaping from size 18 to 30, the letter size, and then it kept compacting really close, and every time I was writing, it kept going bold and not bold, bold and not bold. And so I was sitting there getting rattled, and then Peter came and said, "Here, just take your fingers, squeeze it together." And I was afraid to do that. So at the very last minute, we printed it. So I have two versions. I have the one I just read you, and the one that's half bold and half ordinary. Anyway, so I was getting more and more rattled by sitting there trying to get it ready, and I heard the keying bell ring, and that can really rattle you. So it may have sounded a little bit mixed up.
Anybody have any comments or questions in here or on our Zoom screen? Which is, okay. Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, here's Peter.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yes, Mike.
Pardon me.
You who are taking the Jukai ceremony, you have the choice. Peter told me I was taking the Jukai. I don't know if he remembers this, but he looked at me and says, "You're doing Jukai, aren't you?" You know, yeah. But it'd be wonderful to have more people with doing that and enjoy it.
I would have done that also, Mike, with anybody, except I never believed I could. Anybody else? Any questions about Jukai or?
To come down to the station for the talk.
Got it.
The investigator asked her about that.
Got it.
Who's talking?
Oh, Sandy's mic just unmuted by itself somehow.
Oh,
Okay, Sandy, try again. Nope.
Oh, she was unmuting. Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, well, I just wanted to say I had the same experience with Peter and Jane. I felt like I was kind of told, "You're doing this," and it seemed so odd because I'd only been there a short while, like maybe 6 months at the time, and but I'm glad that I did it. Very glad. And I believe Greg had his hand up, and I didn't know if you had not seen it, Peter.
No, we didn't see it. No.
Oh, he took it down? Okay. All right. So thank you, Jane. It was a very good talk, and it wasn't garbled at all.
it feels garbled in my mind. Greg,
Oh.
did you have your hand up? Thank you, Sandy.
Okay.
Greg, did you have your hand up?
No.
Greg, put your hand up.
Yeah, Greg, put your hand up.
Greg, can you come on Saturday?
I will do what I can to come.
Yes, yeah, please ask Jeff first also.
I will.
Of course, that goes without saying, but I wanted to also say it. Yeah. But we'd really like to have you here. So thanks. Yeah.
Well, I have one more quick thing. Don't worry about what your Roku looks like when you present it. Mine was a disaster, and Sandy rebuilt it for me. And my stitching's really large because I'm partially blind, so it's a sign of yourself, however you put it together, and if people can tolerate mine, then don't worry about yours.
Everybody's may have different feelings about how they're sewn, but the truth is when you look at it, just from a distance of 2 or 3 feet, it looks like everybody else's.
Well, you can see the stitching on it. It looks like a baseball.
I can't, not from here.
Looks great from here. I looked at it close up today when yours looks really nice. Yeah.
But
That idiot there.
yours may be big, but they're consistent.
Yeah, they're very consistent. Yeah, they are. Looks like it should be that
You
way.
can thank Sandy again for that.
Thank you, Zan.
Well, I've tried to follow his own style because I didn't want my style, which is small, little tiny stitches, because it wouldn't look like it was his, that he had done it. So he did a lot of it. And I didn't really think the big stitching looked bad. I thought it looked nice.
It does.
Yeah, it does
It's really
because
nice,
it's very
yeah.
consistent.
Yes.
It looks like it ought to look that way. Yeah.
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 But
it
the
does.
truth is, Mike, I can't see them from here.
I can't speak from there either.
But is there any kind of saying that they need to be tiny or that they need to be?
Yeah, when we were taught, it was that, it was just a stitch that went in a certain place and came out like 1 stitch away.
But the actual stitch width, nobody wrote down and said it has to be this far apart or this size, did they?
No, it didn't. Just up. It comes out when it's done correctly. It comes out as a dot on the front side, but on the back side, it comes out as a line.
A line. Yeah. It's when I made mine, the feeling I got was that I was sewing my life into it, or
That's
my
right.
yeah, so my life was becoming part. This rock Sue and I were one and the same.
Yes, when you go to another Zenjo and you have and you're wearing your rock suit, everybody inevitably wants to look at your rock suit and see, they can see, oh, this person is very consistent, or this person wobbles back and forth, or whatever.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter. Each one is who they are, and we're not trying to be who we aren't.
that's right.
So it's quite all right. Whatever you make is going to be you and enjoyable.
Right. That's true. Well, thank you. Thank you, Jane and Peter. And I will be there next Saturday, barring anything happening in the house with my husband or the dog.
Yeah, could you, people who are able to come and are able to bring something or would like to,
Yes.
could you let us know? Because if we have to get more food from outside,
Oh,
then we
okay.
have to, we'll do that.
Yeah.
But that's
I was-
possible. But
I
as
was
much as possible, I'd like to have homemade food.
Yeah, I was thinking of a salad because it would be easy.
Okay.
No baked cakes anymore.
Salad is good. Salad we need also.
Yeah. Salad's
Okay. All right. Then I'll be there. What time are we starting?
Snacks, like Peter and I, for one of our things here, we had a vegetable dish with cut vegetables and a dip and any kind of salad or chips or whatever.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
What time do we start? Do we need to be here?
We haven't decided yet, but I would say, we'll have to look for the email. because it'll be 11 or 12 or 1, but I think it will be
early,
11 or 12, one of the two.
early, so we can take our time and sit and eat and talk.
Oh, no, but I meant not the lunch. What time do we start the ceremony when
Yeah.
we need to be there?
Oh,
10:30 again, or we doing it a different time?
well, let's see, this talk began at 11:15. And so maybe instead of a talk, we'll just go ahead and start the ceremony.
Well, let's say 11 anyway.
Yeah.
Be there by 11, so we're not having a regular service first or
No,
anything.
because it's always a little hectic.
Okay,
Because
All right.
we arranged the Zendo a bit.
Yeah.
okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Well, we've already been through the priest ordination with Spencer and Chris, but it seems like this will be much simpler because it won't be as long. There's no hair cutting here.
No hair cutting. There's no hair cutting, yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember back when the last Jukai was.
It's about 2 years ago.
No, more. More. We haven't had a Jukai since the pandemic began.
Yeah,
So that's
Almost 4 years.
almost 4 years, yeah.
hard to
Almost
believe
4
it.
years, yeah.
About time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's about time. And we'll have another one afterwards.
Yeah, we would
the
like to have
next
them
year,
every year. So
like we
if
used
you'd
to.
like to do it, anybody on the screen now who hasn't had that opportunity, if we'll be doing it again, just let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're getting better at doing it. So what we used to do was do the sewing here all together, so that it became like a Dharma brother and sister group working together, which was very nice. And I can get back to, I couldn't before, but I can get back to helping them sew again. Well, yes, I can.
Tell her no.
No promises.
Ever since
Rachel,
when
yeah.
Peter says things, she says, there, the husband said no. Rachel?
Thanks, Jane. I just wanted to comment because of what Mike said and also Sandy, that those of us, I think Phil did too, who sewed their Roxu under Tim Wicks from San Francisco Zen Center, he did care, and he did have a very specific sense of how each stitch should be. And if it was not to his satisfaction, well, you would send it to him, and you would redo it. So I just want to say that it's not what I call a loose, expressionist manner of, it's didactic, and I had a great sense of, I enjoy that, I'm used to it, but it was not sort of anything goes with your spirit as long as it gets to the end of the row. It was a certain way and a certain distance, and you were to do it over if he felt fell a little short of standards.
Yeah, it's not just Tim, but Lisa was a member here for a long time in the beginning, and she was making a Roxu she was in the Barcelona, was that for Barcelona Zendo, and she was just up here on a vacation from it, and we were helping her make her Roxu, and they were working with Deshimaru in France as the teacher. And so when she finished her Roxu as much as she could do, she took it to Deshimaru to show the finished Roxu. And he looked at it and said, no, this won't do. This is not acceptable. And this was the whole Roxu. So yes, you should do some extremely strong effort to make it, the same. However, when you can't and things are a little different, it is okay at least in this Zendo, to show your colors. But that was so funny. She was so upset when he looked at it. He said, "No, this won't do at all. You'll have to do it again." And then they changed their mind and accepted it. But for a little while, she said she was really upset. This is the Zen way too. Look at it and say, "This won't do." No, not at all. And the other person falls apart. And the teacher lifts him off the floor and says, "Well, I was only joking." I didn't mean that quite as strictly as you took it. Anyway. So I hope we will have people next year to do another set of Roxas, which we will make here in the Zendo. We'll set up a table and lamps like we used to do and just all work at the table together. I used to be in the kitchen. I could hear people talking and the conversations were really funny. Oh, what do I do now? Anyway, it was always an enjoyable time.
I remember Stacy did that with, when I was doing mine, and there was a gentleman from the old Santa Monica Sangha that was doing Jukai at the same time I was doing it. And Stacy would have a little stitching class and stuff like that, and she was kind of a taskmaster. You want to do it just right and stuff. And I'm like, I'm blind. I can't even see this thing.
Yeah, the thing is, it's good to be a taskmaster because it's a good practice for people to stretch. Not to just lean back and say, "Well, whatever I do is okay." It really is good to put yourself on the line and say, "I can do this." It's like when you sit, you say, "I can do it." And you probably at the beginning can't. Anyway.
Anyway, anyone else? We're going to have the full moon ceremony today.